Hello, and welcome to my disciplinary argument presentation project. We are going to talk today about how costume designs make arguments within theatrical productions. I believe that non-traditional costuming designs make stronger, clearer arguments in historical plays. They have more to offer the audience in terms of the meaning they convey and overall experience. First, we're going to talk about what costume design does for a play and how it makes arguments specific to that run of the production. So costumes have the enormous responsibility of being the first thing that you consider when a character appears. There's a ton of information, of evidence, packed into each costume. And if you're wondering, what evidence? These are all the general categories of claims that each costume must contribute evidence to. So time and period obviously refers to when a play takes place, but it does not have to match what is written in the script. Productions of historical plays that are out of reach of copyright law have no obligation to be set in any specific time period. Place and locale refers to the where a play takes place, and also does not have to match the script. Mood refers to the feelings the designer intends to evoke in the audience. Theme refers to the thoughts the designer intends to evoke in the audience. Style refers to the way the story is being told. So this could mean, is it realistic, non-realistic, fantastical, allegorical, any of those. Finally, revealing character refers to specific evidence supporting claims made about characters. They can be as subtle or as overt as the designer chooses. Okay, now let's talk about what we mean when we say traditional and non-traditional costume design. So when historical plays were contemporary, however many hundreds or even thousands of years ago that may have been, they were performed in dress contemporary to the time. Now, in the present, we have the option of trying to mimic the original production and using costumes designed based on that specific time, place, and culture, which would be traditional, or we can relocate the production and set it in the context of any time, place, and culture, usually modern, and that would be a non-traditional approach. Okay, so this is a production of As You Like It. And as you can see, the costumes are meant to look like actual 16th century clothing. The costumes are visually stunning and quite impressive, but one of the drawbacks of traditional costuming is that as someone who has not personally experienced the 16th century British culture, nor extensively studied it, like the costume designer, I can't pick up on the nuances in the design, and the audience can't either. The audience can't tell the difference between historically accurate details that serve the time and period and place and locale functions of costume design and design choices that serve the style and revealing character functions. So for contrast, here's a production of As You Like It that took a non-traditional approach to costuming. A modern audience can look at this and for example, apply what a floral bomber jacket means to them. The time and place functions can take more of a backseat role once they're understood in non-traditional designs, and the audience can dig deeper into the meaning of the specific outfits. Okay, so here's another example of a traditional costume design with the Duchess of Malfi. If I did not know the title of this play, of course, and all I had to go off of was these images, I wouldn't guess that I'm looking at a duke and a duchess. I get the vague idea that these two have money, privilege, but not necessarily power. That's not really clear to my untrained eyes. Okay, however, if we look at this production of Antigone, wealth and power dynamics are much more clear. It's not even set in present day necessarily, but setting it in a clear time period that the audience and I know much more about than we know about ancient Greece reveals the arguments made through the costuming. Creon, who's on the left in the higher image, is clearly the boss, while the chorus shown in the lower image appears to have less money, less status, less power overall within the world of this play. So here's a production of Hamlet that has taken a traditional approach to costuming. One of the things audiences often have difficulty with when watching historical plays is that they don't identify with the characters easily. The characters are emotionally sort of out of reach for them. The function of mood is then not fully achieved by costumes that keep the characters emotionally distant from the audience. This is another production of Hamlet. This is also from the Royal Shakespeare Company that was produced 4 years after the one we just looked at, so this is the same theater company. The costume design is completely different, as you can see. There's a humanizing element to deciding to use modern costumes in this context. In these pictures, Hamlet feels more like someone you may meet or who might dress like you or someone you know. Even Claudius, off to the right, is more emotionally accessible and relatable to the audience through his clothing. Okay, and now just some practical considerations to wrap up. The theatrical productions are produced with a finite amount of resources. The research necessary to produce accurate designs, the intricate nature of traditional historical dress can be a major strain on time and money allotted to the costuming team. This means that costume designers may have to make compromises on their designs in order to not exceed their budget or to have the clothes ready on time for opening. For costumes with modern or close to modern costuming, these considerations do not pose the same challenges. Let's say you need a wedding dress. You can find a modern wedding dress in a thrift shop. Cheap, quick, easy. But if you have to find a 16th century wedding dress, you're almost certainly making that from scratch. So also, another resource that you may not have considered is the audience's attention. When all or a substantial amount of the audience's attention is used up on the spectacle of the historical costume, that is attention that is being taken away from the story and what is happening on the stage. In order to perform the function of theme, costumes must not distract from the plot and the characters. All right, so to summarize, we talked in this video about the functions of costume design and went through each of them, and we dug deeper into how non-traditional costume design is better suited to accomplishing these functions than traditional costume design. Well, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it.